Welcome back. So now we can read some courses and present them, but that's kind of boring because right now the courses are hard-coded. We don't want that. We want to use some kind of service to grab the courses so we can present them. So that's what's going to happen in the next couple of lessons. We're going to try and use a REST API and actually start getting data from a REST API. There's a lot of things we have to cover to do this. Now the first thing is just to get an overview of how this is going to happen. Right now, I've kind of just hard-coded right now the actual information right here. So inside the course service, it's just hard-coded right here. That's what we want to change. So instead what's going to happen is we're going to have the course service make a request. So it's going to send a request over the wire to a REST service somewhere. So we're going to define where does this request have to go. And then the request will go to a REST service somewhere, and we'll try and do that soon. And that REST service will somehow go maybe and grab the data from a database somewhere. It'll get the data back. It'll convert it into something that we can use as a response. It'll send that back to us, and then we'll get the data, right? So that's what we have to build now. And sadly, it's not just that easy to do. It's pretty easy, especially if you're used to it, but if you're new to this, it's not that easy to do. I have a REST API available for us that we're going to use. Let me try and show you the code here. This JSON placeholder is actually pretty awesome for testing out REST services. Let me just try and zoom into this link up here. So this is the JSON placeholder typicode.com. They actually provide a free REST API that we're going to try and use. It doesn't return courses, of course. It returns posts. And posts, they will have an ID, a title, and a body. So right now we'll just get the title and the ID. That's fine for now. It's just to test it out, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to try and grab this. Now we need one more thing. So I'm going to tell you one more thing before we actually try and do this real. rxjs API. This is a huge set of different classes that can help us out. The one we're going to focus on is observables and replace objects. So, and we're going to subscribe. We're going to do a lot of things. This is going to be pretty complex, but just live with me. I'm going to try and explain to you as well as I can what's going on. But this is the library we're going to use, so whenever you see the word observable or replace object or stuff like that, you can read the documentation in here if you want to dive even more into it. I'm only going to touch a fragment of all the beautiful things this library can do. But we're going to focus on observables next lessons to actually grab data from a real REST API to present it inside our application, right? That's the goal of the next couple of lessons. And we're going to do it this way. The course is going to remove the local data, create an observable. That observable will send a request over the wire. The request will be sent to a specific REST API, and that REST API is going to be this placeholder for now until I build my own REST API later. And then we're going to get information back because the REST API will generate some data here for me somehow. And that data will then be passed back to the service, and then the service will just return it. So instead of returning this bogus data that's hard-coded, it's going to return some real data from REST API. That's the goal for the next couple of lessons. See you next time, we'll start this out.